The news that came out yesterday was the Washington Commanders have hired their new head coach. His name is Dan Quinn, formerly the defensive coordinator of the Cowboys, formerly defensive coordinator in Seattle, but most notably the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. And now there's some speculation that we could be getting a brand new offensive coordinator in Washington. Apparently, Eric Bieniemy is not going to be the guy, and apparently it could be a chip off the old block. Ha ha ha. Chip Kelly, the UCLA head coach, could be the latest in a college football coach deciding, you know what? I think I'm going to take my talents elsewhere. And it could be Chip Kelly as the OC in D.C. for the Washington Commanders.
Just crazy in the sense that you have a head coach, a guy who's in complete control for the most part of his program, how he wants it run, of a major institution that's going to be flush with cash, moving to the Big Ten now with that TV media rights deal. And yet he's looking at an offensive coordinator job in the NFL. We already saw Jeff Hafley leave BC, and this is no disrespect to Boston College, but I feel like it's a little different challenge. Competing in the ACC, TV rights media deal isn't quite as good. And, just with the resources there compared to what he's got in a major market, big conference, a school that is going to be highlighted much more. And he's contemplating this move. Why? If this doesn't highlight the issues that we're facing in college football, I don't know what will. And it's all surrounded around two things. It's NIL and it's the transfer portal. And for people who want to be critics of the idea that the transfer portal does need fixed, because the lazy argument they always use is, well, these coaches can up and leave anytime they want to. Okay. These players are making any commitment whatsoever anymore. There's no penalty. They can transfer, every year now without penalty twice. So think about that. You get to choose your school going as a freshman year. You can transfer after your freshman year. And you can transfer after your sophomore year. And you can basically graduate, because a lot of these kids are coming in with credits from high school, or they're taking summer school. So they're finishing school in 3 years, 3.5 years, now more than ever. And you know what happens once they graduate? They can transfer as much as they want. So tell me what other industry, if you're talking about, employees, can just skip around wherever they want all the time like that. You can't do it in the NFL. You can't do it in any other sports league. You're constantly signing 1-year deals. It's absurd where we're at with college football. And it stinks from the standpoint that we don't have anyone looking to kind of run to try to make changes because of what the Supreme Court decided about NIL, a 9-0 decision that every single time the NCAA tries to enforce any rules or do anything, they get sued. I mean, Charlie Baker talked about it, the new president. Like, they get sued literally every single day. It's highlighted right now by the lawsuit with Tennessee because their star quarterback, who was a 5-star recruit, is alleged of potential inducement from an NIL deal he signed before he got there. And you have, like, the state of Tennessee now suing the NCAA. The whole thing is an absolute mess. And I think if you look at a head coach like Chip Kelly, who they've recently lost a recruit to West Virginia, who was able to compensate the kid more, and you look at these other issues that you're having right now, maybe some UCLA fans will be happy about it, but if you can go pair yourself with a head coach that you like, that you can work with, and not have to deal with all these issues and get compensated close to what you're being compensated as a head coach, why wouldn't you? It's a much better quality of life in that respect.
It's a dirty game out there. It's a dirty game. I mean, I just was talking to Chip Kelly and just, hey, I'm going to be back. And
How long ago?
Not too long. What, 2 weeks? Something like that. It's interesting because as the landscape continues to evolve, if there isn't reform, if there isn't better structure, better rules that govern what's going on, I'm not sure. I'm just not sure where things end up, because it's kind of that out of control in some regards, and it is very hard without having kind of a clear-cut way of approaching how it's all done and how it's managed or how it's governed. It's interesting, man, because you don't, like, as a parent, I'm going through it as a parent with he's kind of a top recruit, and he is a top recruit. I mean, the cat's out of the bag, I guess. And it's like I'm getting calls and I'm getting messages, and it's like, listen, like, he's not even, his mind frame isn't even remotely in the realm of thinking about NIL and thinking about money. That's not what motivates him, and it's not what motivates us. And so for me, I have to always start conversations off with, like, let's make this clear. Like your approach, it might be wrong in this scenario. And so to me, it's, I don't know, it's a tad bit disheartening, because to hear it and to experience it from where my vantage point is, and to know that everybody isn't in a situation where they can look at it that way. You know, a lot of people, I mean, if we're getting down to why it gets so messy and why it's so dirty right now, athletics has always been an alternative vehicle for people to make money from their investment, i.e. my child. My child is my investment, and I've invested my time, my energy into my kid becoming what my kid has become, and that may or may not be true. And now I'm going to reap the benefits of it. You're going to buy me a church. You're going to buy me a tractor. You're going to buy me a new home. You're going to get me a job. You're going to do that. That has always been the case since forever. But now that S in some way, shape, or form is doable. It's now out there for you to be able to get it. And there's a gray area on if it's breaking the rules or breaking the, I don't want to say law, but if it's breaking the rules or not. And that's, to me, as long as you have people that are trying to find money, and it's in the realm of, I can use my child's athletic ability. Like, you see people on draft day. Them people don't be jumping up, clapping their hands and crying and all that stuff all the time because they're just happy for their kid.
Yeah. We made it.
We made it.
We here.
Yeah. Right?
All of a sudden, LaVar gets a call from an uncle he's never met, you know?
Hey, bro.
Hey, it's Uncle Jonas.
Hey.
You meet Uncle Sam and Uncle Jonas before?
Hey, Arrington, remember me?
Listen, and I was
it's
okay.
Johnson.
I was all good. with that with my family. Like like I felt like we were good. Like, you want tickets, we got tickets. You know, you need something, something here and there, you got a little something here and there. I don't, but there are those ones where it's like, who put clothes on your back? You know, who put food in your belly? Who made sure you made it to all those practices and it's like you are in a position where it's like, I made this investment for you to even be able to have this opportunity. So you're going to pay it back, when being a parent is something that you chose to do. That kid didn't choose for you to be their parent. Your job is to prepare your kids to be able to live life without you being here to make sure they're okay. That's what a job of a parent is. Not for them to make their money and give it back to you. It's like, to me, it's the wildest cultural thing. Sports culture is very much wrapped into that, because you don't see that in anything else. You don't see that in a person becomes a big time doctor or whatever it may be. It's not like, you've made it as a doctor now, now you've got to pay it back to
Well,
me. Like,
you don't know that. I mean, there could be other
I kind of know
families
that.
and
No.
cultures.
I've been around. I've been around a lot of different. I would say, and I would say you're well traveled enough to know as well. I'm well traveled enough to know that's just not the culture in other places, other industries.
What about me? Am I well traveled enough to know that?
No.
Oh, thank you.
No.
Would you say that? No. Well, yeah. Hey,
well,
here's.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go there.
Well,
Damn.
Here's where we're at though. To all the points you're making is like, we're at this. The on the field product is still amazing. It is what it is. It's growing. It's why money still pours into, the different TV rights media deals, and it's one of the reasons why viewership continues to go up. So I don't want to paint this picture over college football like it's still not a great product. The problem is everything else out around it.
Yeah, man.
And I feel bad in some ways for the players because it doesn't feel like anyone has their long-term best interest of mind. All people care about now, to your point, is money. And whether it's the parents, handlers, agents, even some players, they're only seeing what's right in front of them. They're not seeing what's 10, 20 years down the road.
Yeah.
And I think that's the hard part is it
Right.
used to be about getting an education so when that day ends when you're done playing sports, you had something to fall back on. You had a career to then transition into. And what I worry about for a lot of the kids that have been kind of caught up in this for the last so many years is will they still have that? Like, have they gotten their degree? Do they know what they want to do? Do they have a network or a foundation of anything they can go back to when sports ends, when the not for long league that is the NFL ends? And that's the biggest concern is are we helping young people continue to develop? Because that's what college is about. You're still growing, you're still learning, you're still finding things out and learning about things about life. And I know it's now become a model that can be monetized by many different people. And again, I'm not advocating that players don't get paid. I just feel like we need to find more guardrails and boundaries to have a collective bargaining agreement. And so that means the players have to unionize. That means there has to be different, rights that are negotiated upon. We have to figure this stuff out so that players are protected for mental health, physical, disabilities down the road, so that they have stuff that is there for them and they're not just blowing through money, that they're getting from these NIL deals, not really realizing that it's not going to last long. So I'm hoping that someone steps up. As I said before, I'm not too optimistic because it's an election year. I don't think anyone's going to focus on that, at least in the world of politics. There's 1,000 that's hyperbole, but there's a lot of court cases that may help decide this. But I think when you keep seeing some of these head coaches who go and leave to take these jobs in the NFL, it's a clear indication of them not wanting to be a part of whatever this is right now. Nick Saban retiring. I believe he probably would have stayed.
Yeah.
So that's the hard part.
You would have thought it too, especially a guy like Chip Kelly would have more of an appreciation for college, considering how bad it went in the NFL the last time he was there. And even he's like, "Yeah, I'll go deal with that again."
Take my chances there.
Like I
got a chance here. I can take my chances there.